here.
Welcome to the victory circle.
Clearly, we have lost a host. Some have deemed him the smartest fantasy player of all time, but he is studying for an exam tomorrow. He probably could have quit his job if he was in the winner's bracket with the amount of money that we are going to win, the life-changing money, the life-changing belt buckle that is on the line. But Dan, good to see you. Maybe the best you have ever looked. But how are we feeling right now?
You know, I feel good having the bye week, kicking our feet up this week. Everyone's scrambling around, making waiver wire acquisitions, worrying about their team. Big COVID scare around the NFL. Not us. Could not be me.
No, obviously a lot happened this last week, to have the pure bliss on your face after what happened. I mean, is there anything that you want to, comment on? We'll get into it as we get into the pod, but maybe one of my favorite memes of the year, DJ Moore, just all over. I didn't realize they were coming so fast. I just thought he posted a picture of you, but all the little mini DJ Moores was fantastic. So what was it like to just get, killed on Monday night in the meme game? How'd that feel?
I thought it was a fair trade-off. Bergh gives me his team. I give him one win. I'll give him that win. I'll take my second seed. It's like the Make-A-Wish Foundation for a dying child.
One thing that we look at is obviously what could have happened, but I don't know. You were looking at it. How many weeks would Bergh have won if he didn't trade his kicker and his defense? And then would he be close to playoffs?
I think if he doesn't trade the kicker and defense, he may, I don't know this for a fact, be undefeated since that week.
And potentially with what transpired in Toy getting in at 6-8 and good points for, could be in the playoffs.
He very well might be. And I know all but 1 week's results. So let me check the 1 week that I never crunched the numbers for Bergh, see if he would have won that. And if so, this might be the saddest realization ever. 13. Check my team.
Well, as Dan does that, we'll get into the pod here. Week 12, not week 12, week 14, episode 12. So we are in the thick of it with playoffs. Obviously, a lot of clamoring going on around the league right now. Some big things happened last week. Obviously, some massive matchups going on this weekend as we get into the playoffs here. So let me go ahead and share. I think people already know this, but I'll just remind them. Dan and Peter did get the buys. So, the nice thing about that is we have a pretty easy week this week, Dan. So we'll get into that. But episode 12, did you crunch the numbers or are you still working on it?
Did crunch the numbers, and Bergh does lose 1 game since making the trade. I would have to see what week we made that trade. I could check that pretty easily.
Okay, take a look at that because he finishes the league 4-10. And 6-8 gets in the playoffs. So
he's 4-10. He collects 1, 2, I think 3 extra. So the trade happened week 9 going into 10. So that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's 5 weeks. In those weeks, he went 2-3. Had he not made that trade, he goes 4-1.
So he goes 4-1. He adds to his win total by 2. So he's 6-8.
6-8. And let's assume, he's going to have maybe 20 more points than he currently has.
And I'm pulling up the standings here.
Let's put 1,600. He is in, 6-8 does not get him into the playoffs. Still misses.
7-7. Yep. Okay. Could have been interesting, would have been quite the development. But wow. Yes, so Bergh has cemented himself. Let me go ahead and share the screen here. And we've also got a few additions. At least, we've got one addition to the losers bracket.
Welcome, Shaw.
Things were looking a little clear, looking up but blurry, but now they are down and opaque. So as we get into the buckle race here, Shaw not only loses to COVID, but also loses to myself. And after a little talk of delusion, that never actually went through, which I was surprised at, but he did start Jamar Jefferson, who put up a grand total of 0 points to offset Terry McLaurin's 0 points. Shaw does find himself on the outside looking in, where I think at the beginning of the year, a lot of people expected that. So if we just pause there for a second from preseason, from our preseason predictions, we've got some surprises. Obviously, Nick not being in. Cole was kind of in the middle. Me being in is definitely a surprise. Getting the 1 seed, I think, is a flabbergasting thing. Dan, you had a great team out of the gate. Chris being in. Ben's season just continues to put my head in a blender, but somehow he is the number 3 seed. And if I don't pull that out against Shaw, he has a bye with 18 less points scored than Nick at 1480 as we get into that. But Dan, any takeaways from this?
Yeah, I think COVID mixed with losing and being in the losers bracket has really broken Shaw. It's so hard to see as his friend. I remember the guy that used to meme from last place, and now he's just a defeated man. It's sad to see.
Yeah, and if he goes into this week and loses to Cole, who is on a 7-game losing streak, it could get ugly, especially since Dan is going to be with Cole this weekend, and there will be a lot of fodder that will be released on Shaw. But anywho, the playoffs are set. We've got Ben versus Toy. And we've got Milk versus Chris. And we won't spend too much time on the losers bracket just because, why. But as we get into things, there's going to be some juicy matchups. So buckle race update. Let's move into power rankings here. Actually, this is weekly recap. Nick's gone. I lose complete control over everything. But anything stand out to you here, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, there's the obvious one. I don't want to talk about it really. It was sad. I had some key bye weeks and injuries. Won't happen again. But other than that, like you said in the group meet, Ben's win over Cole is the most Ben win possible. And with Lamar Jackson going down, I don't see how Ben pulls it through. I'm sure he will. I've been saying that all season, but God. And then Milk's team putting up some numbers. He wants to let us know, hey, you all made fun of me when I lost that running back for Carolina, but guess what? I still got it. He did say if he wins, he will listen to the pod once, but I don't think we have to worry about that. Other than that, everything seemed pretty expected. What about you, Pete?
Well, yeah, I mean, knowing Milk doesn't listen to this is just once again breaks my heart, but you live and you learn. Milk's team putting up 156. Obviously, the Packers have the Ravens this weekend. I mean, Rodgers put up a career level day. 4 tutties. James Conner with 30. That's big. His team is. I mean, and the offense in Seattle just doesn't seem to go through DK Metcalf at all, which is fascinating because if DK Metcalf has half of what he does in the previous years, he's looking at almost maybe a 170, a 170 week. But obviously the big one, the Bergman upsetting I don't even know if I'd call it an upset. Just doing what he needs to do and what we all expected to take down the Dan Bergh super team. And George Kittle has been a stud over the last 3 weeks, averaging just a shade under 30 points, 150 yards in a couple of those games. But yeah, I think that this week was an anomaly for Toy. I expect him in the playoffs to look better, especially getting JT back. He picked up Higbee, which he thought would be a good play, which I thought would be a good play this week. However, Monday he gets false positive, produces 2 negatives, and still is not allowed to play in that game. So the NFLPA is actually looking into rewriting some of their COVID rules as a function of that. And then, obviously sending Shaw down to the losers bracket couldn't warm my heart anymore. But any last thoughts as on the weekly recap?
I don't believe so.
And one last thing, Cole's team is just not good. I'll be intrigued. I don't know the matchups for Najee and Kamara this week, but that'll be pretty fascinating to see play out. So I pulled up here as we go through the power rankings. The power rankings from week 5 when we the inaugural podcast. I think I released them over GroupMe in week 4. But when we did our inaugural week 5, there has been some shakeup. There's a reason I shared this. Obviously, if you just want to pause and take a look, from last place to first place, we have a big change and a lot of shakeup in the middle. Milk was 7 at that point. Cole and Shaw, 2 people in the losers bracket, were already identified at that point, so they could have just given up their seasons at that point. But Dan, walk me through your week 14 power rankings.
Yeah, I think Cole's team has proven time and time again it stinks. 7-game losing streak is not going to move you up. It's in fact going to move you down. Bergh, welcome to not last place. I think this is going to be like winning the Super Bowl for him. He's going to be happy, ecstatic. I can't wait to break the news to him. Nick, his team won. His team did me a solid by keeping Chris at bay, locking me in that bye week, so I appreciate it from you, Nick. Shaw, thought you could make it. Your team bit the dust. Sad to see you go. Chris, this is where it gets interesting, I think, is the playoffs. I had a really, really hard time picking my playoff teams. I have Ben at number 6. I think that Ben, his team has some bright spots, but overall, it's just a vulture from other people's handcuffs. And with Lamar going down and Ben pulling out these 20-point wins when he only puts up 100, now that Ben doesn't have a cakewalk schedule and he's against the big boys, I think Ben's true colors show.
Welcome to varsity.
Yep. He's been beaten up on JV kids, and he's moving on up to the big leagues. Chris, 5, I think his team is so boom, so bust that I wouldn't really want to play him in the playoffs. It really depends on who Tampa Bay is playing, but Debo is an anomaly. I think he got 0 catches, but yet he rushes now. I don't know what's going on with him.
Elijah Mitchell's coming back, so that offense is bizarre. It is Russian roulette in that offense.
Yeah, I would agree. But so is Chris's team. I would say if there's a team that's Russian roulette, it's Chris's team. So we'll see how that pans out for him. I don't think it's crazy to think that he could put it together 3 games in a row, but I don't think it's – if his team busts any given week, goodbye, Chris. Mm-hmm. Milk, 4, it's hard to move him down after that really explosive, I'm still here kind of week. He's got some big key players like in Booper Bupp, Aaron Rodgers, that I think could get him big numbers, but I just don't think he has the complete team to get him to a championship. Toy, I think he's got Jonathan Taylor. He wasn't able to start a tight end. I think his team has some issues, but I'm fearful of Toy's team in the playoffs. I have Peter at 2. I think that while his team is put together and his running backs have played well, I think that he does have a bit of a hole at flex. And if one of those running backs don't have the big week that they're expecting, I think he's going to have trouble winning. I have myself at number 1. I think that's because I have a more consistent quarterback. If Hawk plays, he's a guaranteed 8 to 10, if not more. My wide receivers being such a powerhouse, I think is more beneficial in a half PPR league. You can expect more out of them than you can, 2 running backs. It's just more spread out. I think Zeke or Chubb can go off at any given time. And if you add in the fact that Hunt may be out a prolonged amount of time. The Chubb power is going to get activated. And then you add in Folk, which we didn't get to see in action this past week. And I already have defensive matchups for the final 2 weeks I play. I think I'm put together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll just skip to number 6 here. Ben, his team's coming together. The Kamara trade is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Even with Lamar, I keep him at 6. I don't trust T. Higgins. We've seen that. I love Deontay Johnson as a wide receiver too. His floor is unbelievable. But his ceiling is just a little bit of a question mark, or a big question mark. It's kind of non-existent from very high. So I'd prefer to play Ben because I just don't know if he'll ever start a full lineup. But hey, we'll see if Waller comes back. I don't even know if maybe he just picked up Sterling Shepard off waivers. We'll take a look at his team obviously here shortly. Number 5, I've got Chris. Chris's team has a fantastic boom potential. Like we talked about, Tampa Bay at any given time. He did get 13.5 from Claypool, which I think will be his highest total over the next 3 weeks. I don't love, seeing that in his lineup, but whatever. I do love seeing that because if I have to go against him, but once again, as Tampa Bay goes, so does his team. What's fascinating to me is that as we move into the next one here, I'll comment on this, is that Nick, who has got a big exam tomorrow, has been at number 3, even with Lamar, in his lineup, which is very surprising to me. After his take last week or 2 weeks ago, where something that I never do and have more or less, vowed to myself to not defend Dan. But when Nick did claim that Milk has the best receivers, I don't think that's even a close. Cooper Kupp is the best receiver, but that does not put him over the top of what Dan has on his team. So number 4, I've got Milk. James Conner, once again, I thought, I don't even know if Chase Edmonds was back this week. But he is, and he got 22 from Mark Andrews with a backup quarterback. So Mark Andrews could actually get a bump from a backup quarterback playing, which could be pretty fascinating development there. Number 3, I've got Toy. I really like Toy's team. I think, he's got, once again, he's got Jonathan Taylor. You already commented on this. He does have that hole at tight end, which he was giving up in the trade. Godwin has proven to be a stud late into the season here. But we'll see what happens with Toy's team. I'm very intrigued by that matchup. I could not leave Dan at number 1 because he lost to Bergh. So the audacity to lose to the 10th place team, keep yourself at number 1 is, out of this world. If I would have lost to Bergh and I was number 1 in Dan's power rankings the week before, I probably enter the bottom 4, even if I make the playoffs. So I might not even make the power rankings. So Dan, has a couple standards. He has the Dan standard and then the rest of the league standards. So I cannot leave him there. Obviously, he's got a stud team. And that Zach Ertz pickup, Dan's going to be, he obviously his love for the Hawk runs deep, but that Ertz pickup is looking pretty good at the moment, especially with D-Hop going down. So Dan, well played. We'll see what you do. Couple tight ends on the roster. And myself, I got number 1. A couple of the reasons. Number 1, I won. Number 2, I'm the number 1 seed. The Dallas Cowboys defense has been a very pleasant surprise. They get a lot of turnovers, score a lot on the defense. They're the number 2 ranked defense right behind the Patriots. And then on top of that, I like my depth heading into the playoff. I have 7 running backs on my roster, and 6 of those are the current starters for their team with 5.5. Javonte Williams splits time. Chuba's the starter. Michael Carter's the starter, and Rashad Penny's the starter. So I'll have some questions on who I start in my flex. But if I pick the right one, I like my odds. So Dan, any last comments here as we move out of power rankings?
Nope. I think we hit on everything.
All right, let's go over to matchup previews. And as we do that, before we do that, I'll jump here. This is our record from last week. Nick and Dan both had 3 and 2 weeks. I did not. I had a 2 and 3 weeks. So Dan, you are 29 and 26. I'm 25 and 30. 31 and 24 out of Nick. So we've got a little bit of a race there for our best pick'em, our best prognosticator. But that being said, let's head over to matchup previews.
I think we start in the losers bracket.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. I think my internet went out.
I could see it.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I just didn't see our matchup on here, Dan. Is there a reason?
I don't know. Wait, maybe the app is glitching. I might have to. Oh, wait, Pete. I know why.
Oh, shit. Down here.
Oh.
Oh.
Wait. Does bye mean like goodbye? Like we're out of the
I
league?
think we're out of it.
Damn.
All right. Well, if any of the the league members, maybe Milk listens to this, you could let us know what goodbye means. It'd be really, really interesting.
Yeah,
the consolation ladder, they're not even a bracket, they're the ladder. We are going to start with the 8 versus 9 matchup here. So let's jump into it. A couple guys who were in a lot of people's top 5 power rankings heading into the year, and definitely did not perform to what they hoped and what the league thought. So, Dan, preview this matchup of your old team.
Yeah, I will tell you about it. I've got some breaking news that I find too funny not to share. Ex-Jaguars kicker Josh Lambo tells the Tampa Bay Times that Urban Meyer kicked him in the leg while stretching before preseason practice.
Oh my God.
I love Urban Meyer. I found out today he's on a 6-year contract at, I think, like $12 million a year.
He's getting paid an exorbitant amount of money to run that franchise into the ground.
And if they let him go, it's like $60 million on the table till 2026.
No.
So I have a feeling he stays, but it's hilarious. Okay, let's take a look at this matchup.
I'm gonna just jump into the other view. I clicked box score. Let me go into matchup. That one's a little bit through these sunglasses that are just blocking all the radiation from the sun while we're on our bye week. That it's just hard to see. So let me go to matchup.
Sounds good, buddy.
All right, here we go. So we got the iceberg. I clicked the same one. Anyways, they don't deserve it. We'll go through this fast. Dan.
Yeah, I think. Oh boy, the iceberg's team is falling apart. He's got Damien Harris back in his flex. Miles Sant. He's got a lot of quality players. A lot of Q's on his team. D-Hop is pronounced dead in Carolina or in Arizona, excuse me. Who does he have on his bench? Odell, COVID, Thielen, dead.
The third string running back from the Seattle Seahawks.
Devin Singletary. Oh God. Oh. Let's look at Nick's team. Let's make fun of it too. Melvin Gordon, not bad. Sony Michel, not bad. Josh Allen, they saw him in a matinee last night. No boot, might play. CeeDee Lamb, Pittman, Dawson Knox, Darnell Mooney. His team is also terrible, but I think he's got the advantage here, as sad as that is to say.
Yeah, I'm going to have to roll with Nick in this one. And that answers my question, which changes my tune on Milk ever so slightly, that Chase Edmonds still has the IR designation. So he was not in the lineup last week, so he didn't take anything away. So we'll see. That's a development. We'll continue to see how that plays out. But I have Nick here. Miles Sanders, you can't trust that. You can't trust Philadelphia for anything. Yeah, D-Hop's out.
DJ Buffalo.
Yeah, it's going to get ugly real fast. Hey, Thielen might be back. All right.
He won't be.
All right, we got 2 Nicks. We've got 3 Nicks, actually.
Oh, did Nick send his pick'em?
Nick did send his pick'em.
Gotcha.
All righty. Let's go back here. So I got to click the bottom one. So box score gives us the one that isn't blurred. I can put these shades back on.
I think this one's going to be a quick one too.
Yeah, this will be really fast.
Saquon's been putting up some decent numbers. Josh Jacobs against a depleted Cleveland. The whole team has COVID. Jarvis is out. Russell Gage, I've never even heard of him. James
Top
Robinson.
wide receiver in Atlanta right now.
Really?
Yeah.
James Robinson, Urban Meyer hates.
He had 4 carries last week.
Yeah, who's on Cole's bench? Hunt won't play. Keenan Allen will be back. That is big. He will replace James Robinson. Kadarius Toney has been a surefire drop for weeks. Good thing he's hanging on to Allen Robinson. And why isn't Ayuk playing?
Okay. Yeah, definitely some question marks there.
Definitely some question marks.
That Kansas City game could be a shootout, which could benefit him. And if, that stack of Keenan Allen.
Yeah, Keenan Allen. If Keenan Allen goes nutty with Justin Herbert, could be big. You take Keenan Allen out, you put let's think about it. If we own this, we would have Keenan Allen in the flex.
No, you take Jarvis is out. You put Keenan Allen in the wide receiver.
Keenan Ayuk in. I think you put Brandon Ayuk in the flex then, and then you put
have Ayuk
Keenan Allen in the wide receiver. Saquon's fine. Josh Jacobs. That team's not as bad as it is right now.
No. You have some decent. Yeah, he's projected to lose by 19, but that's with a 0 out of Jarvis.
Yeah. So, who you add in Keenan Allen, who is a stud.
You could think about actually taking Gage out and putting Ayuk there and keeping James Robinson with the matchup, but you can't trust him.
Urban Meyer will not.
The cap pass.
You just can't play James Robinson, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, let's look at Shaw. Joey Mixon, Darrell Henderson, if he plays against Seattle, it's a good matchup. Tampa Bay, Jamar Chase. Dude, when I picked up T. Higgins in a trade, I said, hey, T. Higgins is the truth. Everyone laughed in my face, spit in my mouth. Look at him. He's a stud. Jamar Chase is falling off. Kyle Pitts stinks. Good draft pick, Shaw. Tyler Lockett has been putting up some numbers with Mr. Unlimited. Patriots D versus Indiana. Greg the Leg Joseph. That doesn't do much. Devonta Smith, whatever. Gas Can's not going to play. Kirk Cousins, you wouldn't play him. Jamar Jefferson, just in case Darrell Henderson's out.
Oh, yeah, after his big 0 last week. Yeah, that's a good keep on your bench.
Honestly.
All right, this is the consolation bracket. Let's speed it up.
Yeah, no, I just think,
No, they don't deserve it.
Shaw's a listener. I want to give it to him.
All right.
I got Cole in this one.
Wow.
I got Cole. I think he makes some lineup changes. He puts in a little work this week. Now, I am relying on him to do that, but I will be in North Carolina. I'll poke him in the side a little bit. Hey,
yeah, I know. I was going to ask you if you weren't heading to North Carolina this week, do you make the same pick?
I do because I think I'd call Cole. I think it would be, and I hope Shaw's not listening. I think it'd be comedic gold if Shaw lost.
I think it would be. The league would be cackling about that, but I cannot pick against a guy who has lost pick a guy who's lost 7 in a row, had a full lineup in last week and put up 78. So make sure to pay the $5. So Shaw got a big boost from Tyler Lockett last week, but that offsets getting a 0 from his running backs. I think that if Darrell Henderson can't go, I think he finds a better option than Jamar Jefferson. But anywho, I've got to roll with Shaw in this run. Hungry dogs do run faster. So Shaw, I am rolling with you. And we will make in that pick. And I believe Nick also took Shaw in this one.
You're welcome, buddy. I was talking to Shaw by saying you're welcome.
All right, off to some major matchups. This is what weeks 1 through 14 are all for. To get us to the playoffs. I knew I was going to be there all along. People wrote me off early. I started 1-4, made a little meme, said if we win out, we're fine. Finished the season with 1 loss. Happy to be in the playoffs. What was that?
Who did you lose to?
I lost to you.
Oh. Weird. I wonder if you won that game if I don't make playoff or if I don't have a bye week. Probably.
You don't. If I win that game, if I pull that out, you're
Oh,
not getting a bye week. Ben's got the bye week. It's Peter and Ben.
If Ben got the bye week, this would be the last year of Madison fantasy.
Yeah, we all might as well just throw in the towel on it. Nick might just burn down the place at the View. Anywho, we've got a juicy matchup here. So Dan, you've led the way to begin with. So why don't you kick us off? We'll go back and forth.
Sounds good. I think there's a chance Lamar does not play. Okay, can you explain a couple things to me, buddy? Okay, we've made the playoffs. There are no more bye weeks. Why on earth would a man have Antonio Brown on his bench and a totally unused bench spot when his quarterback might be out this week? Can you explain that to me logically?
I have absolutely no idea. And he still has Fab. There was Michael Carter and Rashad Penny on the waiver, which I think are great pickups. That's why I went out and got them. So to me, it doesn't make any sense. I think AJ Dillon could be, and he has Jamal Williams in right now, who's out. Where is Ben? Is Ben alive right now?
I'm going to see him in 20 minutes. So he has Jamal Williams in. Okay. So what? He moves up Devontae Parker. And then Walrus doesn't play, so he doesn't drop the Walrus. The Walrus goes to his bench. And then he's got to pick up a quarterback. He's got some good pieces, but Jesus Christ, help us out a little.
Najee against Tennessee should eat. Tampa Bay, Alvin Kamara. I think Tampa Bay is on a revenge tour against the Saints, and I think they're going to dog walk the Saints. And I think Kamara will put up his 15. I don't think he's going to get over 20. I could be clip that. I could be totally wrong. But I just don't. So much of what he comes from is having a good quarterback, and Taysom Hill stinks. Deontay Johnson, I think, is going to eat as well. I think that'll be a big. I think it's at home though in December at Denver, T. Higgins, that's a decent matchup. If the Walrus plays, that's big for him. But if we look at the other side, I do like Toy's team and matchup.
And he's deep. I didn't realize he's got Hunter Renfrow, Antonio Gibson, Mike Williams, all on his bench.
Yeah. So once again, the thing that I have always just, especially with Toy's team with the gap at the tight end, is I have the same issue, but I have, he hasn't performed, but Kelsey is an auto start. To have to say all right, which tight end am I going to start this week and which flex is always a challenge. So that's the only thing that scares me about Toy's team. Taylor does not have the best of matchups, but Stafford is at home against Seattle in a dome. That'll be a big score. He'll put up a big one. Marquise Brown against Green Bay at home. They've got a good secondary. It depends on who's throwing them the ball. Would be interesting to see if he puts in Mike Williams there.
But that as well.
But I don't think he will because Mike Williams does play on Thursday.
True.
So hard to roll with that. Godwin against New Orleans. Love that. I think Godwin's going to have a massive week. Could be wide receiver 1 this week. Montgomery against Minnesota. Love that. Bills D has been a shit show as of late. But they're playing Carolina, who's no good.
I've got Toy here.
I do have Toy as well. There's too many question marks on Ben's side. And but picking against Ben is one of the worst things that we can do.
I agree, but I got to do it. I got Toy.
I got Toy as well. Let me take a look what Nick had.
Conditional.
Yeah, he took conditional. I think if Lamar plays, pick him. I'll take Milk. Oh, sorry. I'll take Ben if Lamar plays. Otherwise, it's Toy. So we've got 2 toys for sure.
All right.
And let's move on to our last one here. Chris versus the Milkman. which is going to be a very, very, very intriguing matchup.
I agree.
So what do we have? We've got, God, he's just so couple team dependent. So let's start with Chris. So we've got Tom Brady over Aaron Rodgers. Who would you rather have? I think that's a complete wash, actually.
I would agree.
That's a wash. Leonard Fournette and Elijah Mitchell, or James Conner and Deontay Foreman?
Leonard Fournette, Elijah Mitchell, easy, especially Elijah Mitchell against Atlanta.
Yeah, but you have James Conner against Detroit, and Detroit can't stop a fifth grader.
Oh, God.
And you have Pittsburgh's D. Right. Early season, a lot of hype around Pittsburgh D. But they've not been able to stop the run.
A lot of hype.
I mean, I think and Elijah Mitchell's coming off. I think he's going to be limited. I actually have to roll with James Conner and Deontay Foreman here.
Disagree.
I just don't know how they're if I knew that because of the San Francisco offense.
I think Leonard Fournette is just so good.
I agree, but James Conner did outscore him and put up 30 last week.
True.
And that's not a flash in the pan.
I give it a little bit to Chris, but I don't think it's like a.
Yeah, I give it. I lean the other way. I give Milk a little bit. All right, at wide receiver, I easily give it to the Milkman. He's got the better one. He's got the better two, and he's got the better flex.
Yeah, Devonta Freeman stinks. And then tight end, you have to give it to Milk. Gronk is a force, but Mark Andrews is a stud.
Yeah, I mean, that's almost, you can almost say it's a, he's position rank 1 right now. Wow. Over, and I guess that's, Kittle's been out. Who will Chris, let's see what we've got on the benches here.
Against Detroit. Ooh, that's a good matchup.
That is a good pickup, Chris. Well done.
And then he has Panthers versus Buffalo. Baltimore against Green Bay. That's not going to be easy. I bet
he starts Vikings to Chicago, though.
Yeah, he's going to start Vikings in Chicago.
God, this is a good matchup.
Blowouts every week.
Let me just look at this real quick. Yeah. So the Jets isn't till week 17.
Oh, that is a weight off of my shoulders. It's still Carolina next week, but
no, I play the winner of this matchup.
If there's no reseeding.
If there's no reseeding, which we don't think, 1 sec, we'll just take a look. Let's look at this real quick.
How do we know if there's reseeding?
I mean, the way that the playoff bracket is set up, it doesn't look like it just makes it, here's like the aesthetics of it. So because it's like grouped like this.
I'm not sure if that's true. Just look up ESPN, is there reseeding?
By default, here's the deal. We have 6 teams in play at 3. For the current, it looks like 1 to play winner 4 and 5. With that said, all right, that's the question. By default, it doesn't reseed. The number 1 seed will play whoever wins the 4-5.
Go to league settings to see if it's on/off. Go to league settings. Just let's be sure.
How do I get to league settings? I never. Oh, right here, probably.
Yeah. Settings, yeah. Go back to league settings, and then go to, I guess, would it be teams and nope, not WNBA, not NASCAR.
I was just doing a control. I think it is. I think I played the winner of 4-5. You didn't change it.
I never changed it.
Yeah,
but that answer was also from 7 years ago. That's the only thing that gets me a little nervous.
Dude, what has ESPN done to update their fantasy? Just the UI? They're not changing that.
True. We're gonna assume you're playing the winner of this matchup. I hate it. You have Chris against. Well, I love it. You have Chris against Carolina or a Red Hot Milkman. I'm hoping Ben. Let's go.
You're pulling Ben. You pick Toy. I've got oh my God, yeah.
I do not want to be the 1 seed. Thank God I lost to Bergh.
Hey, Toy's got a team.
Hey, Toy does have a team, but Ben's got that crazy luck.
Yeah, well,
it could happen against me too. But if Ben somehow pulls out a miracle this week, oh baby.
I mean, we talked about it back and forth, you and I. This league is pissed that we got the buys. They gave it to the 2 worst people. But if Ben wins the buckle, that is worse. That is 10 times worse than you and I winning this. If Ben has a good manager the whole season, not mad. But Ben getting the way through he did to the playoffs, unbelievable.
So I polled a few players in the league who they want to see win the buckle the most versus not. And buddy, it's me and you that people don't want to see win the buckle.
Oh, easy. I don't want to see Milk win the buckle because of his lack of dedication.
Yeah. I think my preferred. Okay, let's do this matchup and then let's shoot.
All right. I got Chris.
You got Chris. Fuck. I was going to take Chris. My bad. I was going to take Chris too, and I didn't want to. Oh boy. Give me the Milkman. I'm gonna make a ploy for the Milkman. He's gonna change out his defenses. He's got some favorable matchups. I'm not doing that to be different than you. I just think that the Milkman.
I think you flip a coin on this matchup.
Agreed. I don't think there's much you can say to predict this one.
Because they just have very similar teams.
Same team.
Same type of makeup, same type of, hey, it could boom to like 200 or it could bust, it could go,
be a 100 game. You just don't know.
Yeah. So who is it? Can you release your polling? Like who you pulled?
Who? So I pulled Bergh, Ben, Nick. I think that's it. Maybe Shaw as well. I don't remember what Shaw said though. Oh, Milk gave his 2 cents in Chicago.
So we were bottom 2.
The unanimous. There is no. Shaw would rather you win, but everyone else said they'd rather me win than you. But then it's everyone else after.
Hey, I love that. Yeah. How did I become the villain? 7-8 weeks ago, I was sitting there at 1-4.
Buddy, you remind me of Tom Brady. Oh, but he's a late draft pick. Wouldn't you want to root for him? No, he's smug and he's an asshole.
And apparently, hey, I'm fine to say it. Tom Brady is extremely good looking. Are you telling me I have any similarities there?
No.
Damn it.
You are draft Tom Brady. Exactly. Yes, that's exactly what you look like.
All right. Well, hey, I love Dan. You taught me how to be a villain. I'm going to continue to ride the villain.
I thought you had to be a villain, buddy. That is not true because I am not a villain.
You're always the villain. You love being the villain. You embrace the villain,
buddy. I'm the people's champ. And if I win this league,
you're on a podcast in the Midwest with a gold chain, no shirt, sunglasses, a cowboy hat, and a black blazer on. Put your damn hand down.
If I win this league, I will be the champion of the people. Mark my words.
I am gonna shine that belt buckle every damn day. Just. When you go to the airport and you sit down to get your shoes shined, I'm gonna sit down with tennis shoes and pull it up and be like, no, sir, right here, shine this puppy up for me.
Buddy, think about what you just said and the motions that you would have to do that.
Yeah, while all of you are watching, you'd be like, this is the most alpha move of all time.
Yeah, shine up this buckle. Please get a little shimmer in my penis too. Sad.
You're the one who said that. I'm just getting the buckle shined.
Hey, you will see.
The buckle that you would get, though, you wouldn't be able to shine because of all the bedazzling that was done to it.
Buddy, it'd be icy as fuck.
Oh, no, it'd be terrible. All right. Any other closing thoughts for our viewers?
Nope. I think the beauty of it, is we're going to be just as smug next week. There's no shot either of us lose. And we have a win and we're in kind of game.
Hey, you win one game, you're guaranteed money.
1 out of 2, guaranteed money. Hey, will the Cinderellas keep dancing? I don't think so. It's our time to shine, baby. Let's go.
1v2. See you next week.
Peace.